Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Welcome to the DreamHack Open DreamHack Stockholm. We waited for a while to get this series underway. It took longer than expected. It's the first game in this group. There's no winner's match or loser's match just yet. Spawning here in the bottom central portion of Merry-Go-Round, it's going to be the blue Terran player playing for Axiom Esports. Give it up for Ryung!
The top left as the green Protoss, it is Grubby.
Look at that face. That smug face. Like, I didn't invite you to my game versus the Muslim. How does that make you feel? Okay, in all seriousness, a little bit of backstory of that, so it doesn't just sound like I'm randomly hating on Grubby here. There's no ill will. Him and the Muslim, he had a game in a series that got delayed heavily for DreamHack. Nobody quite knows why, but it did take almost an extra hour to play out. He did beat the Muslim 2-1 in the end, which sent him here to this group. And, well, now we get to see his TVP versus Ryung. I have not seen Ryung since WCS America qualifiers of Season 2, I believe. So I actually haven't got to see a lot of his gameplay firsthand. Of course, we've been cheering from him for him from the sidelines. We've seen him in WCS course since then and trying out for all these other events. I'm really excited to see how he handles here versus Grubby, because this is another one of those rare opportunities where it's a European versus a Korean on even footing. There's no latency discrepancy. They don't have to both play the NA server. Like, this is the best of the best for both of them.
I kind of expected like a 2-racks or something dumb, right?
No.
These are gonna be the best games in the world or like the worst games in the world. Just that there's no medium.
Well, actually, you know, it's funny you bring that up, because if you remember last time we cast him, it was like a lot of 2-racks and blue flames and other weird sort of blitz moves when he was trying to qualify. So I'm not sure what he's got up his sleeve for his TVP. The matchup's changed quite a bit since then. There's been Widowmine changes, of course. And Grubby, to his credit, I mean, he made it pretty far in WCS himself this season for Europe, of course, and his TVP is not bad. I just don't know how good it is compared to Ryung's TVP.
I honestly can't say. Obviously, that last match with the Muslim was like really, really close. Otherwise, would not have taken.
Yeah, it took a long time. Like, those were long games.
So, and you know, you really don't know. We don't see Young as nearly as much as I would say that I would like to or used to even.
Sorry.
You know, like there was GSTL and there was you know, back when he was in the GSL, you know, we got to see him a lot there, but, you know, not... Because he has, like, his American runs really haven't been that great, so it's mostly been his teammates that we've been seeing a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, Hart has got to be my favorite powerhouse of late on the team. He's the guy that surprises us the most. Impact was pretty awesome for a while, too, but... Yeah, Ryung's not exactly the forerunner of the team, but it's cool, because, like, this is a big foreign event. There's this whole stink about the whole going to DreamHacks in the first place, and that whole fiasco with Moscow. I was really stoked when I heard they were going to send one of their players to Stockholm. So it was really cool to see that was Ryung on top of that, too, because we know a little bit of an extra backstory where Ryung, he was trying to attend IEM Toronto. His spot was, like, given away or something. I don't know the full details of it, but he didn't get to go, basically. Too long didn't read. So, yeah, it's cool to see him go to a foreign event here. Reaper,
so
doesn't get a whole lot on that second scout.
It was pretty interesting that Grubby got that forge so much faster than his robotics bay.
I didn't realize he saw. Yeah, well, he saw both. But I didn't realize he saw the robotics facility actually.
Yeah, that was a 6 scout. That, I mean, it's not like it's a pretty good spot for Grubby to put, right? You know, there's a chance that you probably won't see it because Stalker and a Mothership Core is going to be out. But considering he didn't get a Stalker, I take that back. He got a Zealot and a Sentry. Like, we've been seeing so many of the same builds, like, seriously, that it's surprising to see even, like, a slight difference, as much as, like, a Forge first is different than, like, a Robo and then Forge, like, whoop-de-doo, but just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, Armor first, we talked about this earlier when we saw it, not a bad idea, even if it's not going to be for Zealots, even if it's not going to be for Storms in Charge or anything like that. But what it is going to be beneficial against is certainly a lot of Marine fire, which you soon have to deal with. I mean, what Ryung's doing is pushing right now without, like, +1 or anything like this. I don't imagine he's going to go much deeper than baiting out the overcharge, but should this Mothership Core not be paying attention for even a moment, this is a lot of Marines. This is a lot of freaking Marines.
It might be enough that he dives on top of the probe should the Mothership Cannon not be quick enough.
And we'll see it go up, like, the ramp sometimes. There's a force field waiting for him, though. He scouts.
Really...
I love that he scouts this. This is such a big deal for Ryung to get up here and actually see that sentry and not dedicate. So walks away with the Marines, gets the overcharge, big scout off with the Reaper.
It's pretty, like, okay, so we saw pretty much everything that you would need to see to know that was a normal game. Like, you kind of assume they're going to go up to Colossus, although there was a chance they're not going to. But, like, just the fact that he used that not only to bait out an overcharge, but also get the Reaper in.
Yeah, and
it's cool.
The Observer, too, on the way back.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, Grubby, he's not really in a threatening position where he has to, like, crank out something other than Observers right now, but it is, you know, of course, annoying to lose Observers.
Stupid crank. Oh, sorry, crank out. My bad. Yo, by the way, sorry, before I go full ADD and we focus on the game too hard, big shout out to Hoofit1, just subbed to the channel. What I'm loving too, guys, if you got the Axiom logos because you're subbed to like any of the Axiom members or whatever, spam that stuff in chat. I'm loving the grubby faces. Let us know who you're cheering for if you got the emotes to cheer for them. But Robotics Bay on the way, kind of to be expected. I mean, Colossus are just like the part of the matchup. There's not really a lot of things to go around it. So getting these out quick will be nice. One weapon upgrade started, but the combat shield's on the way as well for Ryung. But his medevacs are soon to be in full force. It is, for those who don't know the matchup too well, for the Terran, you kind of go between like 4 and 5 medevacs, no more, because you have to start making Vikings after that point. So like this first drop that Ryung's loading up is really important. It doesn't matter if this does no damage. He's got to keep that medevac alive.
We have been seeing people like experiment with more medevacs than that. Like 6 to 8, I would say. Just to have like a bigger ground force. Obviously, you don't have enough as many Vikings if they're going for heavy and Vikings, but a lot of Protosses, like we saw earlier, I think in this cast, I can't remember, probably, was that like you add in a lot more Immortals than you do like Colossus, you know? So they add a lot of buffer, they add a lot of like, you know, damage done that you just really don't account for.
Well, it's either that or faster storms. You kind of have to pick between the two.
Yeah. And, you know, Ryung was very conscious about like checking. Of course, the Reaper didn't see the Robotics Bay, but you know, with this drop, well, this drop should just be like not do anything. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Stalkers aren't that scary, but you don't want to unload on top of Zealots. It's just like dropping your army into a meat grinder. So still though, gonna hang around to look for a way to get in here. There's too many observers out for Grubby at the moment, though, for Ryung to really sneak by him undetected. I'm actually really digging the Marines he's got over here to the south as well. This one's gonna be so sick at catching a Warp Prism should it come by.
Yeah, he needs one over to the right though, if we're gonna be like, you know, like 100% here. Yeah, because then you can see any proxy balance going down near his third.
What was he scanning?
Observer, maybe?
Yeah, I was looking. I couldn't find
the main. Not sure.
Okay, well, Ryung's got a pretty sizable force starting to get up here in the natural too. So, I mean, right now he's distracting a lot of what Grubby's doing, but he could just unload and go for a big attack on this third attack from the south and the north at the same time.
Yeah. Grubby is going for double upgrades here. I mean, that's pretty greedy. You know, he's gonna delay his storm. But he's gonna have like really like buff ground army. Right,
like every zealot is gonna be that much more effective. So, I mean, this is, you're right. It's kind of greedy in a regard, but at the same time, he's playing Protoss. He's taking a third. He's kind of in a position where he can afford to do this. Nice sniper on the Stalker. Takes out a couple force shields too.
I wonder if Young's gonna pull the boys like.
I don't know. He doesn't really have a lot of Vikings though. Not yet, at least. It wouldn't.
Not yet. I think he would wait for like another upgrade. But you know, because
it'll be decently effective against heavily upgraded units supposed to have storms out.
He did get 6 medevacs. It was 6 medevacs. I feel like, you know, maybe he's not gonna pull. I mean, you really want a very fast, very huge Viking count if you do pull. He's gonna catch him.
Yeah, no thermal lance just yet.
I don't know what's quite working out.
Kills the first Colossus, still one over here, but the army coming in from the north. This is what I was talking about before, setting up that dual-pronged attack. Grubby getting sandwiched in here, but Ryung actually not falling from the south, so the army in the north gets squashed. The Vikings starting to get picked off here by the Stalkers, but that Colossus is really low. And still without extended thermal lance, Marauders have the same range as Colossus, so staying on top of it, easy peasy before Ryung takes it out. Now it's just Stalkers, and they don't stand a chance against Marauders. GG. Ooh.
They didn't have charge, right? The Zealots didn't have charge.
No, that just went to hell in a handbasket.
Okay,
real
so
fast.
it was bad. But like, here's one thing about what Grubby did. While his like units are going to be really buff, they're really not that buff without charge. You know, Blink, okay, whatever. He didn't really have an opportunity to use Blink to its fullest, which is sniping off Vikings. Because honestly, there weren't a lot of Vikings. Like, why did they kill 2 Colossus? But without charge and that split that Ryung had was just. And it was like, how does Grubby do that better? Because if Grubby goes to 1 attack, he loses his third. If he goes the other attack, they
I
get
think-
into the natural.
I think honestly it's just one of those situations where it was too early for that third. He didn't have an army for it.
I think so. I think that is the best way to like say it. Like it was a pretty greedy.
Well, we see it's kind of similar to what we see in ZVP more than PVT per se, but
Well, you know, they're also the militia corps wasn't really involved in the fight either. You know, he could have cannoned either the third or the natural and technically covered one of those sides. I don't know.
maybe. Fox